So here's what we have going on here. 7.5 square modified granulated roof. The only thing that I don't like is all the pitting. See where the granules are coming off? And the reason why that's an issue is because I wonder how much of this is wear and tear from when they were constructing this. So looking up here, you got 3 square of exposed cement wall here, right? The problem is brick wall is not waterproof. See these overlaps on the capping? There's one there, there's one down there. About every 8 foot. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. I like to caulk and seal those. Taking a look at this, the flashing is a little bit worn. You start to see the fabric through it. This has really got to be reflashed. You want to maintenance. Anytime you start to see splitting like this, see that? You really want to, at the very least, reflash this. You should not be able to see the bonding fabric. What happens is it's put on thin, wears down, and then it splits open when you start to see water. It's a pretty decent lay of the rubber. Should be a chimney hood on here, but that's not a big deal. You can buy that yourself at Home Depot. This is flashed. Usually like to see this with rubber on it because the cement without bonding fabric underneath will start to split and crack. And then what it'll actually do is trap water, which is a no-no. But again, yeah, there's some wear and tear on here, and what I mean by that is I hope that wasn't done while they were constructing this, because if they were working off of here, which they probably were, unless they were only 6 inches wide as a human being to be able to put this on, they were probably working off of this roof. When they did that, they may have dropped nails, stepped on them, etc., etc. That's something to be mindful of. The other thing of that is these mortar lines. I got fat fingers, so if I'm showing you this, whatever the eye can see, water can certainly see. So they have this nice riglet cut into here with the capping going across it and silicone. The only problem is this is good from here down. Up here, you have other issues where water can get in. So of course it would come right down the parting wall. Personal opinion, if it was my house, what I would do is I would reflash everything, all the roofing cement, reflash everything, then give it an elastomeric white coat. Do not let anybody sell you an aluminum coating, because you cannot put aluminum coating on a white granulated material that will literally corrode it. There's an area over here where the caulking is split, so you're just basically funneling water in. That's a no-no. You know, attention to detail looks like you've got areas like this. If you can see it with the eye, again, remember, rain can see it. See this split here? You got to fill this in. There's caulk that comes in a tube, comes in a square tube, and it's actually better. This is where most people make the mistake of trying to stucco this. Stucco, unless you use a high PSI, is not waterproof. So then you still have to go back and seal it. But yeah, I would use bare brick and mortar masonry paint. Oh my word, look at this. You see this? Let me try to zoom in on this. You stick your whole hand in there. All right, so where's that going? These parting walls are usually made of 2 layers of brick. The water gets in wherever it can. Look at this, right above the ivy. See that? See how that back corner is open? Here. It's just a tar line, that's nothing. But there's places where I can put my whole finger in, and I got fat fingers, so if my fat finger can get in there, then certainly rain can get in there. Look at this one. I'm too short to reach this without a ladder, but I can make my whole finger disappear into there. So yes, could you maintenance the roof? Definitely. You want to take care of the roof. Elastomeric white coating. Do not let anyone, make sure it says elastomeric. Do not let anybody apply white coating from Home Depot. It's garbage. Make sure it comes from the roofing supply. Make sure it says Elastomeric on the bucket, even if you don't use me. My job is just to inform you. The best way to go about things. If you use me, that's a bonus, but if not, I've served mankind by telling you the truth about what you're facing. Again, so where does the water go that gets into here? It travels its way down and trickles out through the grout, which is probably why you have an issue on this wall. So the silicone here has to be replaced on this riglet. See, this is what we're pointing out here. This needs to be anchored in and then replaced. This should be sealed as well. You can see here you have more of an issue. So if you wanted to spend $8,000 on a new roof, absolutely you could. But if it was my home, I would not do that. I would secure the counter flashing riglet. I would silicone all that. I would reflash all the roofing cement, and then I would elastomeric coat this and do a brick and masonry paint here from Behr. It's super thick. Do not use regular latex paint. Make sure you get the brick and masonry, or you can also use the elastomeric on it, as long as you remember that the elastomeric is a 2-coat system. So elastomeric, you're not trying to spray it as far as you can. You actually wanted to put it on thick, and what happens is it basically dries like a siliconized product. Same thing with the roof, same thing with the wall. It's 3 square a wall, I think it was 731 to be exact. If you wanted to put a new roof on it, you could, but again, I wouldn't spend that kind of money if you don't have to. Oh yeah, I would put rubber around this chimney up top. Just because you can see it's already, whoops, let me focus. It's already starting to split. And you don't need separated. If you ever drive around in the city and you see stucco falling off of buildings, the reason why is because they put stucco on without putting the screen on. Putting roofing cement without putting bonding fabric underneath the whole thing causes it to split, and then you actually trap water. So that, you want to avoid a problem. Wrap the top in rubber. Flash it here. You throw a vent hood on here. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. What is that? It's an 8-inch round. Silicone the tops of the party cap. Fill in with, I would get a case of the silicone-based mortar that comes in a tube. It's way more durable than regular mortar, and it's not porous because it has the silicone mixed into it. It's pre-mixed, you know, it's problem-free. Squirt, 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 squirt. Fill everything in that needs to be filled in. Fill in the cracks that need to be filled in, and then seal it. Seal the riglet going across the top of there where I showed you where it pulls out there and there. Pretty simple. So, yeah. Unless you're really hankering for it, don't put on a new roof. You do everything that I've suggested you do and put the elastomeric dual layers coating on here. It'll last you 20 years. You don't have to do anything. If you don't, you're going to have problems with this flashing, separating. Some fabric there, there's a hole there. Splitting here. This could have been sealed better. See, what happened was somebody put latex caulk across here. Latex is not for exterior. It's got to be silicone. So, riglet, mortar line, definitely reflash the roof. I would, like I said, I would highly recommend coating it, but it's not a big deal. You don't have to spend $8 grand, but you do need to take care of this stuff because water runs down, not up. And it's impossible to tell unless you have a microscope if anybody did step on any nails or screws, and there's no way to prove it unless you have it documented on camera. So seal this, silicone this, silicone mortar, caulk all those holes that I showed you where I was able to stick my finger in. Places like this where water can get in easily, go right down into your wall, because you don't need those type of problems. reflash this, throw rubber on this. Let's focus.